Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualised NZ. What are we up to today? Well, today I am going to work on Roxy's weekly challenge, week 3. It has been 2 or 3 days since I watched her video, and so I'm going on memory. So what I end up with may or may not be similar to what she did. It kind of can morph into its own thing. But basically, I think I remember how she made them. Little flippity, hinged journaling spot things. I can't even remember what she called them. I think she did call them hinged though. So we're starting with book pages, and we need 2 book pages of different sizes, different types, different fonts, different colours, that sort of thing. And so I've been and harvested 2 pages out of 4 different books. I don't envisage I'll make 4, but 4, 8, however many, 8 I think. Definitely won't make 8, but just so I had a variety of, options really. So I'm going to put those 2 together. Let's do a larger one as well. So maybe one of these and one of these. This is really weird. It's a book on bridge, so it's got really cool kind of bits and pieces like that on it. Bit of fun. So I'm just going to match up pages here. I don't know if I'll be able to match them up quite so well. I should have grabbed a few more pages out of a few more books, I think, but never mind, because these are basically the same size. I can trim that one down though, because there's a lot of blank space, and then those 2. So I've matched them up, however many there are. Not going to worry about it. Okay, now besides that, I have strips of fabric here for the hinging. This is actually, I think, thermal curtain fabric. It's kind of like canvasy on one side and then smooth on the other. It doesn't really tear that well, so I've cut them. I thought I would add some layering to mine other than paper, so I've grabbed out some kind of laces to do some background layering with, which I don't remember Rachel doing in her version of it, but I thought could be fun. I have just some packing paper, and a random envelope, didn't mean to have that. Some packing paper here for adding some writing space, and I've also got a couple of digitals from my digitals that I could use as well. And then I've gone through and picked out some images from another book, mostly black and white, one colour one, and then out of an encyclopedia, just this interesting map that I thought could be good for layering. I just saw it and thought randomly I will grab that. The other thing I have, which I don't know whether I'll use, and that cool page for layering I just blew off the table, so we won't be using that because I'm not going to go grab it. Is this printable here from Rachel Bella Crafts. This is from her new kit. Now, can I remember the name of it? Shabby Blue Valentines, I think is the name of the kit. And I thought these might be really cool images. They are quite small, so they might be a bit small for what we need. I also printed off some from the background kit of these wonderful collage pages. I thought if we need some more decorative papers, we could use those for layering as well. So let's just grab our first set of pages, and work out which way round we want them. So do I want the larger one at the front or the back? Really depends what page I want to keep. So this is Long Poem by Longfellow. Do I want to keep the raggedy edges? I think I will. And I'm not going to ink everything on camera because that would get a bit tedious, wouldn't it? But the areas that are going to be difficult to ink once it's constructed, I will do that. So these edges where it's going to be hinged, I'll do now, because it's just going to be a little trickier later on. And I may not even ink everything even afterwards. We shall see how it goes. But as I said, I'm not going to do all that on camera. Now, I am being careful with the edge of this because all of these books are on the older side. And I don't want to rip anything and then have to repair it or grab another page or something, because I've put all the books away from me. So I'd have to either jump up and grab them on camera or pause you and jump up and grab them, and it's like, let's not waste some time, let's just be a little careful. And I'm not inking heavily, just giving that little touch. So how are you all today? I hope you are doing well. Let's see, I'm recording ahead, so this video will be up, I believe, on Wednesday, tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. I think this is tomorrow's video. So this one's not super ahead, but I've already recorded some videos that will go up after this one. Trying to be efficient this year, trying to make better use of my time. Right, so they're going to be hinged with our fabric, but before we do that, we need to decorate them up, add in some writing paper. So I think I'll do that first. So I'm going to add in some writing paper over here. Do I want to cover the whole thing? Like, do I want to cover over all the text? I'm kind of wondering about just leaving a peekaboo at the top. Oops, probably a bit more of a peekaboo than I was anticipating. Never mind, we'll make it work. Because otherwise we lose some of that beauty of the book page, don't we, if we cover it all completely. I think about there should be fine. And then I see it talks about dead lambs and children crying, and maybe I don't want that. What about the bottom bit? Battle bell. Beat the wild war drums. Okay, I think I'm going to cover the whole thing. Let's just revise that. That's not happy poetry. No, it's not happy. So let's just change what we were going to do. Good thing I glanced at it, because I'm sure in all that the poem is probably okay, but when you get isolated words popping out like dead and war and crying, and you know, it just doesn't send a good message, does it? So always read what's on the page is my takeaway for the day. At this early stage, I'm just going to use tacky glue. Another reason is, you know, I've talked often about why I use tacky glue rather than glue stick. Less mess, less time wasted, when I'm recording. But also it doesn't make the page curl like glue stick does. So that's another benefit to using it on camera instead of glue stick, is that I'm not kind of trying to straighten out my pages as I work, and thus taking more time, more of your valuable time, more of my time as I try and be more efficient. So this is all in the name of efficiency. Well, not all, but a lot in the name of efficiency, making my workflow better. Okay, there we go. So we've covered over those not so great words. Now this page, I think I want to I'll have the peekaboo on this one instead. So I just need to trim a little bit off the top there, or maybe I could do a little bit off the bottom instead. Yep, that works. And we'll take a bit off that bit that I tore. I'll just tear a bit more off. It's got New Zealand mentioned there, so that's quite nice. This is a book about Captain Cook and his voyage to New Zealand, or discovery of New Zealand, or whatever it was. I don't know, something like that. Right, sipping my coffee before it goes cold. So there shouldn't be anything too untoward on the book about Captain Cook, but then there was wars with the Maori, you know, it wasn't all happy. There could potentially be things in there that we don't want, so do need to scan the text when using book pages if it's going to be visible. If it's not going to be visible, that's absolutely fine, go for gold. So we've got writing space and a little peekaboo of text there just to do that. Now the back here, first thing I notice is it's not printed straight on the page, which I always find quite amusing. This talks about barbarism. Ooh, both men and women had lost one or both of their little... Ooh, mutilation. No, 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 no. No, we don't want any of that. See, it's a book about Captain Cook and it's got yucky stuff on it. So let's hide it. I'm glad I grabbed out a number of these packing paper pages, because I'm using almost a whole sheet on just this first one. So what's the weather doing at your place? We are having very interesting weather. We're finally getting summer, which is brilliant. We're getting super, super hot days, which in the main I'm fine with. I'm enjoying being warm, because I've spent so much of the last year being so cold. Even on a hot day, I've like had to wear a hoodie and stuff because it's just been cold, especially if somebody wants to turn aircon on, like at church or something, and I just freeze. So days where people are like, oh, it's so hot, and I'm like, I'm cold, I'm just really cold. So it's nice to be warm for a change. But this morning, it was cold. Well, not cold, but cooler. And it had rained overnight. So I opened up the curtains to let all the fresh air in, and then within half an hour, so like by 8:30, the sun had come out and it was super hot. So I shut the curtains again, and then like an hour later that it was like cold again, and the wind was cold, and I was like, I had to go around, open the curtains, shut the windows, like just crazy. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Right, so we have 3 writing surfaces. I don't know that Rachel did 3 different writing surfaces, but I have. Right, now on the front we're going to go more decorative. So we've done the writing spot. I'm thinking I might pick out a picture first before we do layering. So I wish I had more kind of colour pictures, but that's alright, we just work with what we've got. And I didn't want to go hunting forever and a day through all my books. I just wanted to go to a likely suspect and grab some bits and pieces. So that's what I did. I just went through basically one book and took out ones that I liked or were the right size. There were lots that I didn't like, and there were lots that weren't the right size, but that's all right. Those other ones can be used for something else another day, because I really need to make a conscientious effort to use books and either discard what I'm not going to use or otherwise handle it, because I've got way too many books, but I love them. I can't help but get them when, you know, if I see one that's like, oh, I can use that, I've got to get it. That is lovely. I really like that. The poem in the background is actually quite pretty. It talks about beautiful, serene, stars, So I like the text in the back, which is a change, isn't it? I definitely think some lace would be pretty with this. So do I want this one? This is more open, this bit of lace. It was a curtain, lace curtain. That is quite pretty. Or there's this bit, which is a lot closer, which has got beautiful roses on it, and this was off my first wedding dress, just a scrap left over from the making of it, which is also pretty. But I feel like the image covers over the flowers, so it's kind of a bit pointless if we're hiding all the prettiness. So I think I'll go with this one. And I've got way more of this curtain than I have of my wedding dress lace, so probably being a little precious with it. Right, and of course this doesn't tear, so we need to cut it. I'm not worried about doing it super straight or anything. Just gonna make sure I have a nice border around the image. Right, here we go. Just going to pop the back page. Oh, that's not quite glued properly. Let's fix that up. Don't want any flapping up. There we go. Right, back to the front page. I'm thinking maybe a label or something. So let's look at the Junk Journal Studio labels, which I am thoroughly loving using. Beautifully neutral, vintagey, and I think will go really, really well with this type of image. And I've been enjoying sort of tucking them in under things lately. Or do I want something more decorative? I think I want something more decorative in a label. This one's got a bit more flourish going on. Kind of more fitting with the elegance and flamboyance of their clothing is what I'm thinking. Do I want any decorative paper or anything in behind is the next question. Bring in a little bit of colour. Neutral colour. I think I might put some. I'm just going to trim the white off. I don't want to cover the whole background. I just want to maybe tear a strip or something. We'll see what it looks like. Just gonna tear a bit off very roughly and then trim off the white. Something very satisfying about the swish of the guillotine. It's so definite and like marvelous. I just love it. Right, so I'll move that for a moment. Just want to peek a bit, I think. I don't want this. I could have just torn it rather than cut it, but never mind. I didn't know which way I was going to go with it. And I think I might turn it around this way. Get that edge on that side. So how are we looking? Probably going to end up covering all our lovely words, or a good number of them. Do I like it? I'm not sure that I do. Maybe I just need like an even smaller corner or something. Let's do that. It's only a printable. It doesn't matter if I don't end up using it. I can reprint it. This is from my Laced Coffee Digital. It's one of the pages. Maybe I need to even bring it down so it's not covered by the lace. Maybe like that. I know, I'm taking my time, aren't I? I'm taking my own sweet time. I don't know, guys, this is giving me some trouble. Don't know why it's giving me such trouble. Maybe something like that. And maybe I need just a little more of the colour up the top to balance it out. Yep, that's it. Let's ink around our label and our focal point, focal image. I'm so used to tamping my brush down on my stamp pad that I forget that I now prefer to brush it on my stamp pad. Like that, and I don't know if it will show up on here, but let's give it a little edge. Oh yeah, it's subtle, but it's there. This is slightly shiny paper, so hopefully it just doesn't end up all over my hands. Put it on and then rub it off as I handle the piece. That would be the way it goes, wouldn't it? Gosh, there's a lot of traffic noise today. Must be the wind carrying the noise. Sounds like trucks and what have you. We're not that far from the main road, so it's not surprising. And it's probably because I've got a window open behind me, which I don't normally have open. So it's probably letting all the sound in as well. So right now the weather has come out sunny again, but the wind is quite cool. So quite a nice little contrast there actually. The wind just keeping a lid on the heat. Right, little snippet up there. And a little snippet down in the bottom. And I think I'll use my alcohol base glue for the lace. Trouble with that open lace is, you know, how do you glue it on, because there's not a lot of real estate on the actual lace. And that's where our focal image is going to help just hold things together. Right, so lace next. I am thinking, do I just want to use the image to hold the lace down and then just leave the edges flappy? I might actually do that because it sounds easier. So I'm going to use my alcohol glue on the image and then it will go through the lace onto the background page. Sound like a plan? I think so. Need to buy a new bottle of this, but last time I went they didn't have it. So did they have it, or I didn't have the money? One or the other. Quite possible that I didn't have the money at the time, because it's not cheap, but it does last quite a while. This one has been on the go for probably 2 years, because I only save it for basically fabrics, laces, that type of thing. Right, now let's push it down so that it goes through the lace and holds everything in place. Make sure it's straight would be good. Right, I can always go back in if when it's dry and everything, and as I'm putting things away later on, if it looks like it might come adrift, then I can do something else. And then this wee label down here, I'm going to do the same thing because it is on top of the lace as well. So it's going to hold down that bottom corner. And efficiency of glues, I'm not using 2 different glues to glue down an area that one can be sufficient for. But a good strong glue like this alcohol glue, it's quite capable. Let's pop that right down the bottom there, and that's going to hold that lace. So this bit flaps and the bits around the edge flap, but I'm fine with that. It's not like hugely flappy. This is the flappiest bit here, and we could always go in and just tack it down with something if we decide it's annoying. Right, more coffee. Yes, it's getting cold. Right, so the last thing we need to do is our hinges. So when hinging, I do recommend that you start with your smallest piece of paper. I'll grab out a couple of bits of fabric. If you put it on your largest one and then go to attach your smallest one, you might find that you've actually kind of gone off the page. And so that's why I'm recommending that you start, or even lay it out like this, so you're working with both together. And we want a little bit of a gap between. I could have actually had this edge on the outside, would have been nice. Oh well, didn't think of it, so we can do that on the next one if we want to. Just lining them up, and I need them closer than that. Don't need a huge gap, just need some gap so that they open and close nicely. And this is a bit of an experiment for me because I haven't done this before. Well, I don't remember doing this before. And this is why I inked this edge right at the start, because once this fabric goes on, it's going to be harder to ink those edges. So again with the alcohol glue, so this I would think is equivalent to Fabri-Tac or any sort of fabric glue is what I anticipate. I've never used a specific fabric glue, but I think this is probably pretty much on a par. Right. And I've gone in the middle there, and I don't want to go in the middle, so I'm going to have to wipe some glue off. Otherwise it's going to glue itself together. I'm going to go about there. So I'm just going to flip it over and kind of wipe that glue off, because I didn't think about it. Because if I folded it in half, that would just end up sticking it together, and then it wouldn't open right up. Things to learn along the way. Here we go. And this one's got a cool like stitching line on it, which I thought was a bit of fun. So lesson learned: don't glue in the middle of your piece of fabric, just glue on the ends that are going to be on the paper. Alright, and let's go about, I like that stitching line, whoops, on the front. So it adds a little extra bit of fun there on the front. So just checking that I've got no glue there. I think that's all gone now where I accidentally glued it. And then it folds up, and you've got this little fun flippy bit of ephemera that you can even sew into a signature really, or tuck into a pocket, or wrap around a page, or however you want to include it, or clip it into a journal. Clipping in would be work really well also. Okay, how are we going on time? We are going pretty well, so let's do another one. I think we can do one more, can't we? Another sip of my coffee, getting myself armed, ready to go. Right, book pages, where are they? Okay, let's do one of the larger ones. So let's go with these. So these pages are basically the same colour, which is a shame, but okay. It's not the end of the world. I am just going to trim this one down a bit because it is fairly close in size to the other one, and this is going to, I think I'm actually going to tear off this edge here as well. Lose our torn edge, our naturally torn edge, where I ripped it out the book. Right, so that's going to be slightly shorter. Now this one is quite sort of torn. Do I want to leave it like that? I think I am, but I'm going to make it the outside. So our hinge will be, I think so. This one I'm going to put the larger one at the back. Just to me it makes, yeah, just so the pages are around the right way, I think. So it wouldn't really matter. Yeah, no, it has to be this way. Sorry, I'm just busy trying to work it out, aren't I? Okay, so writing space. Let's grab some of our brown paper here. I like these suits down the side. And there's, like, this could be written on already. So I think I'm just going to do something like that. Just so I'm not covering over all that interesting part. Yep. Doesn't all have to be covered. Just the balance between interest and writing space and decoration, I think, is the three things we should be looking at when we're constructing our journals. So that there's writing space, because what else is a journal for but writing or drawing or note-taking or whatever. However you use your journal, you need somewhere to do your thing. We want decoration because that's what makes it pretty and what people appeals to people and sells your journal, because that's, you know, the imagery and the prettiness and the detail is what appeals. And what was the third thing I said? I can't remember now. So decoration, writing space, and oh gosh, it's gone out my head. That's so dumb. Anyway, whatever I said, that'll do. Losing my mind quietly, or not so quietly. Okay, I'm not overly fussed with anything. It's not that it's awful, it's just I don't find it particularly interesting. So I'm just going to cover this whole page. Leave maybe a border of that creamy colour. Let's do across first. Gosh, it's bugging me now that I can't remember what I said. I have to go back and watch my video so I can remind myself of the piece of wisdom I imparted. It's so funny. Things, you know, sometimes when you're talking on camera, you say something and as you're saying it, you go, oh, actually, that's quite good. But then you move on. It's like, what was that really good thing I said? And I just can't remember. That is so me, particularly right now. It's like, I can't remember what I said 2 minutes ago. Crazy. I blame the weather. Crazy weather, crazy me. But all in good fun. So I'll be out again all day Friday this week. I was anticipating I would be at home. And I was like, oh yes, I can get everything done and I can have a full day in the office, my office, on Friday. I thought that'll be great. Yep, planning my week accordingly. And then hubby said to me last night when he got home, he says, are you coming with me on Friday to the after work drinks and nibbles? I was like, is that this Friday? It's always the last Friday of the month, and I'm just not ready to be at the end of January. Like, how crazy is that we're nearing the end of January? And it was like, oh, I was planning on being home. But, you know, opportunity to go out, to socialise, to see my friends, to just have a day away from home instead of being like 7 days at home. It's a good opportunity. So I will be going out on Friday. Now, I think I'm just going to cover this as well. Leave a bit of a bigger border just because my bit of paper is smaller. And I quite like that creamy border. It's quite nice. Nice contrast. So yes, I wasn't planning on that. Saturday, what's Saturday looking like? I don't know, to be honest, what Saturday's looking like. We had said we were going to take my in-laws on a wee trip to a place called Mutnau Beach sometime in January. Well, this Saturday would be the last opportunity in January. I mean, it doesn't have to be January, but it does depend on the weather. If it's too hot, it won't be suitable because they won't be going swimming. We can go swimming and cool off, but they won't. And it needs to be, you know, pleasant, not raining or crazy wind or anything. So it will probably be a last minute thing if we do decide to go. And then Sunday we will be up at my in-laws where they live. We'll be going up there on the Sunday to their church. So that's kind of loosely how this weekend's going to pan out for us. We shall wait and see on what Saturday brings. Okay, so that's going like that, that goes like that. So just making sure I don't end up putting this the wrong way round to what I wanted. Okay, let's look at another image. Shall we go with this colour one? I'd have to trim quite a bit off, but I think it's quite a cute image. She's a little sassy young lady. Dolly Varden from the painting by W.P. Frith. And it's in London, in a museum in London. So it doesn't appear to have a date on it. Does it have a date? No, it doesn't have a date on it, but she looks like a sassy young miss to me. And we don't need all this kind of periphery around her. Not for our piece of ephemera. Leave some of it on, of course. And looking at where I might want to cut the height. Give her head a bit more room, I think. Oh, slightly. There's not much more room on her head. Right, so this is hinging on this side. So I'm wondering what it will look like if I have my, I think that would still be okay if I have my tabs hinges there. Okay, just need to lay those on to try and visualize. Now, do we want to use some of this wedding dress lace? Maybe just have a piece running down the side there. That's kind of nice, isn't it? Okay, let's go with that. Just try and cut a strip. Trim off that raggedy top. Oh, it's still too long, so we need to trim off a bit more. It's fine. Let's just trim a bit more off. go. We'll keep that little snippet. Right, so I know where they're going, that's fine. Right. I just think I want to put a little bit of glue in under these flowers. And then I'll use the same process as I did with the last one with the glue on image to hold this edge down. Just where these thicker little bits of the detail of the flowers. I'll just add a little glue under there, more so that it doesn't move around on me. Also need to think about inking before I put my tabs on. Right, I think that's fine. That can go there. Do we want a label? I'm thinking maybe a round one. Quite like it up there, but I want something there. Just looking at perhaps a long label as well. Sorry, I'm probably off screen here. This one's got a bit of colour in. 1916, totally the wrong year, but I like it. I like it. Don't care if it's the wrong year. It looks good. And I've left the lid off my glue, so it's all, you see that? It's all ballooning out the top. Right. Hold on, glue. I'll be with you in a couple of shakes. Again, the ink's probably not going to be overly visible on this. No, you can't tell. So let's just glue it down before I lose too much of my glue here. It does that more when it's getting down to, you know, less glue in the bottle. It gets worse at spilling out the top, while if the lid's not been screwed down. I'm usually really good at screwing the lid down as soon as I've used it, but I didn't in that case. Oops, get that caught underneath. There we go, smush it down through the lace. Keep everything down. It's quite nice actually feeling the texture of the lace through that image. Here we go. Right, I can ink the labels. So that will make a difference for them. It's quite funny. Sometimes I look at the projects Rachel does and they're beautiful. They're always amazing. But sometimes I think, I don't know if I want to make that one. I don't know if that's me or if I'd really use it. And this was one of those projects that I was like, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to do it. And I'm actually really enjoying it. And I'm really happy with how they're turning out. So sometimes it pays to give something a go. Even if you're not like immediately sold on the project. Because it can be surprising. Yes, you might learn that, no, it's not for you. But other times you might find out that actually it's totally you when you do your style, your thing with it, your interpretation. Because you don't have to do it exactly the same as the original version. And most of us don't, because we're all using different supplies. We don't have all the right things, or like Rachel uses those beautiful Italian book pages with all the wormy holes and things. So a lot of us don't have that, and I don't. But using what I've got, still you produce something really nice. Now, I think I probably should use alcohol glue on this one because it's going over top of the lace. just so it doesn't detach or do anything silly over time. And I like that layering of the lace, the two different labels and the image. I think that's quite fun. Hold that down for a second. Put the lid on my tacky glue so that doesn't clog up on me. Sip of my coffee, which is getting a bit cold. There's only about 1/4 of a cup left. Right, so that's down. Okay, let's ink these edges before I put the tabs on, and then we'll put tabs on and we'll be done. So I got 2 made, not any great shakes on the productivity stakes, but 2 made is 2 more than I had before we started. So look at the positives, my friends. Always look at the positives. I think I will ink around the pages. Yeah, I definitely will ink right around the pages off camera, because I think I prefer that. Right, now let's make sure we glue the tabs on the right way. So these two together, and you could put one up higher than the other. I kind of tend to center it more or less. I do want to kind of get them straight as well, so line them up on my mat and just leave a little gap. Yeah, definitely using the straight edge as the hinge edge is better for getting your gaps smaller and neater. Something like that. Let's put our hinges on. I went looking for an old sheet that I know I've got that's a greyish colour, and I found this fabric, which is a little, it's not white, but it's whiter than I was anticipating. But I thought, you know what, rather than hunt for another 10 minutes looking for the fabric that I know I've got somewhere, let's just go with this, because it's going to be fine. And I actually do like the contrast. That whiteness does just have a lovely sort of, I don't know, freshness, I guess. We could always run some ink over it, some vintage photo, if we wanted to dirty it up a little bit. So if you don't have a fabric that kind of looks vintagey, if you're doing a vintage style, just grab your vintage photo or whatever ink, brown ink you've got, and just give it a once over with your brush. Oops, again I put glue in the middle. Silly me. I've remembered not to do it on the top one, and then I got busy talking and forgot on the bottom. So let's just rub off any that's in the middle there. Not too bad actually. Right, and there we go. We've got another hinged piece. So we got 2 done, and I really like them. I think they are very effective, they're very fun, they're certainly different to anything I've made before. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel, for your inspiration and for your weekly challenges. They push me sometimes outside my comfort zone, and that's something I am very grateful for. Really enjoy the project. I do recommend you give it a go, even if you're not too sure about this one. Like, personally, I wasn't too sure about this one. Loved what Rachel did, but I thought, not me, or I haven't got the right stuff. But there we go. I am super happy with how these turned out. Thanks so much for joining me, my friends. I will be back again tomorrow with another video. Until then, take care, and I'll catch you then. Bye.